My name is Rodney Adam Hearn, and I'm coming to you live from Georgetown, Delaware. And just want to share with you this morning what the Lord's doing in my life and a little bit about myself, about what took place in the last year. I had other videos about that I've sustained a severe head injury on June 15th of this year at SEI prison for a DWI charge. First one in 21 years. I had March 19th of last year. I had relapsed for a couple days. I've been clean for 3 years from cocaine, alcohol. Actually, I've been clean now for about 10 years. But I just relapsed. I'm a man that loves the Lord, and you pay a price sometimes. But the judicial system in Delaware, and also how they're raking me right now, charging me $850 for the ambulance fee when I slipped and fell with their worn out DOC shoes. I came out of housing unit 2, out of the shower. I walked 10 feet and there was water on the floor, and I slipped. The shoes that I was wearing were Crocs that they issue when you come in there. And they were worn out. I had actually showed my mother in visitation a day before, and how they had a hole in them and everything. And I just got them not too long ago. And that's what they gave me. And I slipped and struck my head on the corner of the block wall. And I died. I had no pulse. I got a vicious scar on the back of my head now. I had 15 stitches put in my head. They rushed me immediately to BB Medical Center in the ambulance from SEI. I was bleeding very bad. The pillow was all red. The wall was covered in blood. But Jesus saved me. He brought me back to life. It was no man. But from that point, then I went into BB Medical Center, and sad to say that I waited in the emergency room with a severe head injury for over an hour. And then I finally got pushed back. They had me handcuffed to the bed. They had me handcuffed and everything like I was a severe criminal. And they had 2 guards, just like I was a murderer. And all I was a DUI, first time in 21 years. So this is what I'm going through. And my memory at that point was not good. I remember who I was, but I didn't know what had happened, where I was at. I could remember, but my short-term memory was basically gone at that point. Finally, somebody came in, looked at my head, walked back out. Then a so-called doctor come in, and he's on the phone with the warden of SEI prison, on the phone with the warden, okay? And he says, well, we're just going to stitch him up, and we'll get him on his way. And I had a severe concussion at that point. My skull was cracked. And they went ahead and he put 15 stitches because he couldn't put staples in. He put stitches into my head. And then with no chair or nothing, the guards took me and walked me out to the van and got me in the van and took me right back to SCI within about 4.5 hours. No observation, any kind of head trauma. You're supposed to have 24 hours of observation. Sent me right in there and let me sit out in receiving for another hour. And then with no clothes, no bed sheets, nothing, sent me right back into the same pod I was in, housing unit 2. And then sent me in there with another individual with head trauma, with my head all bandaged up. This is the sick stuff that goes on in these prisons and how they treat people. I was already paying the price for first DUI in 21 years, which was a total of 4. I had 3 back, 2 in the 90s and 1 in 2002. That was my last time. Yes, I had a record years ago for dry, and I picked it up and I relapsed the one time. I wasn't even drunk or under the influence. They drew blood and they found that I had relapsed. I told them, the cops, that I had relapsed. Also, they gave me a $15,000 cash bond for a DWI. $15,000 cash. There's people I know in there with gun charges that the judicial system gives them release on their own reconnaissance. So this is how corrupt, when they single people out that they don't like certain people, this is what happens. And now I'm on probation. They sent me to IOP, intensive outpatient therapy. I'm almost completed that now, which is, I'm going to be honest with you, is a joke. And the woman, the counselor, bless her heart, she even told me, you shouldn't even be in this, Rodney, because most of the other people that are in there, there's only a couple other ones that are even in there, are mainly Suboxone. They're on methadone stuff. I've never had a heroin problem, and even crack was hit and miss. And these are all people that are, that are on this stuff. And I don't, and I already completed that 6-for-1 program when I was in prison, and also an R2R program. And then they shoved me. That's called singling me out, Rodney Hearn. That's somebody high up that has a grudge because of something I did years ago, back in 2020, when I was, sorry to say, I had gotten out on crack. I lost everything within 6 months. I was a maintenance supervisor at one time with a company, everything. But drugs, sin will take you farther than you want to go. And because this one woman was going around asking people for money, a girl I was dating at the time, for 10 years she's been doing it. They give her nothing. And they pull up state police. The Delaware State Police pulls up and arrests me and put me in prison for asking a man he was 60 years old, hey, do you have like $20 or something? I was homeless at the time. And also they blew me up all over the news that I was a fraud, a con man, and everything else. When you got people down the Coverdale and at the Hole selling in drugs left and right, shooting people all over, and you're going to blow me up all over the news. Just like when I got the DWI, it was blown up all over. WBOC should be ashamed of themselves, what they've done. They're nothing but a liberal, left-wing agency. That's all they are. And they're being pushed by the government too. And they put certain things on there to try to ruin people's lives for a mistake. And I understand you have to pay for the price. And I do understand that. And I paid it. I did my 6 months, but I died in there. Now they're charging me for the ambulance fee, $850. And then I had to pay, and then now I got to pay $3,000 some dollars for the DWI. First one in 21 years. And the IOP. Now I got to pay also for the interlock system to be put on the vehicle for me to drive, another thousands. And I haven't had an alcohol charge in 30 years. Explain that one. That's called singling Rodney Hearn out. And yes, I am a little aggravated today. And I hear certain people make comments, oh, he's nothing but. No, ye without sin cast the first stone. You better look at yourself. And I love you guys, and I'm just sharing this, and I'm going to put this all over TikTok, everywhere, about how corrupt this legal system really is. Yes. Have I made mistakes? Yes. But I have no violent charges. I have no sex offender charges. I have a few drug charges. And yes, I do have now a 4th DUI, first one in 21 years. That's little called out. I had 2 in the 90s, and they're still bringing them back. DUI, that I was leaving Pickles Bar in Georgetown, taking somebody home, and they pulled me. Give me a break. Or, that is just crazy. But it's just sad. But I thank Jesus today for what he's doing in my life. But yes, I'm sorry that I'm a little bit frustrated, but I have every right when you're being singled out like they've done me. And I'm grateful that I have a good job, that I have a loving mother. And, that's the thing. Jesus has blessed me. But also people need to hear the truth of what's really happening and what's happened to me. So it'll stop from it happening to somebody else. That's the whole point too. And also too, no lawyer will pick this case up where I had severe head injury. This and that, got a scar on the back of my head, looks like a starfish. from this injury, from their fault, from their shoes being worn out, and then water being on the floor.